All righty, welcome. It is Football Roundtable. I'm from the Couch Sports Talk Radio. I am your host, Sean. I am joined tonight by the always sleeveless David. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you, boss man?
I am doing all right. So we are now almost a week of post-draft, and we are going to talk about the draft and see how your favorite team did or our favorite teams did. We do have a couple little news bits is that the quarterback from Vanderbilt was signed to a 3-year deal in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bit surprising. And then we had the Philadelphia Eagles pick up was it an edge from Minnesota?
Yeah, Jonathan Grenard.
Yeah, which was a good move for them.
Howie Roseman doing Howie Roseman things.
He is the best. I'm sorry. Everyone hands down. Harry Roseman is the best GM in the National Football League. I expect to be a large bidding war when his contract's over.
It's crazy.
He nails it constantly. Yeah. Now, if you get the coach and the staff settled and figure out what the hell they're doing, that would be better. But, he can only put the team on the field. He can't make a play.
I know, man. I'm telling you, how he's able. Not only does he get Jonathan Grenard, then he pulls off the trade with Dallas to jump in front of Pittsburgh and take Malachi Lemon.
Yeah.
And he's Houdini every draft. And I don't know how he gets these general managers to give him stuff. I mean, not that they don't give anything up, but it's a case of the rich always getting richer.
Yeah, and the thing is, Dallas is in division.
Yep.
Like Dallas should never trade.
Yeah, and again, I know Dallas. When I look at Dallas, to me, I think it's what do I want to call it? The arrogance of Jerry and Stephen Jones, because I'll tell you, you offer sheet or you give George Pickens the franchise tag, he's not going to be happy. You're sitting at 20 with the wide receiver like Malachi Lemon, and you trade that pick when you could have drafted Malachi Lemon, rid yourself of the headache of a George Pickens, and not that George Pickens isn't good, but George Pickens wants crazy money. He wants $42 million. Who signed the contract that gave him 42? Was that Alex Pierce?
Probably, yeah.
In free agency. So your George Pickens, who was a number one in Pittsburgh, played like a number one in Dallas, even when, and especially when CeeDee Lamb went out. So it's not like you're saying because of CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens played great. CeeDee Lamb was out, and George Pickens picked up the slack and had to deal with the double teams and all that, and was a wide receiver one. And you could have cut your losses and rid yourself of the headache, and you could have replaced them with the rookie who would have been under contract for 5 years in cost control like Dallas likes to do, and you piss it away. I don't understand it. I don't understand
Yeah, I mean, I think he's making $27.5 million this year under the franchise tag.
Yep.
And that's. I mean, you could have picked up someone who could have been a little less, a lot less,
Sure.
under contract for 3 years, but it is what it is. Dallas is kind of grasping at straws.
Yeah.
They're not competitive. And I don't see them getting any more competitive. They had an all right draft, but I don't see them going any further. I mean, the NFC is wide open.
I mean, they got Caleb Downs, probably the best player in the draft, which is great pick. Great pick. I mean, I'm not going to knock the pick. I mean, Caleb Downs is phenomenal. And, but I just, it just baffles me sometimes.
All right. Hey, Jeffrey, how we doing?
Turn on your light.
What
man.
up?
Turn on
you
your
turn
light.
on your light, bro.
I can't see.
Hey, take down your brick wall that's in your house, you fucking clown.
Listen. Yeah, there he is.
What up? What's
Going on?
What are we talking about? I'm
well, we were just talking about Dallas, and we're talking about Dallas, but it started with Howie Roseman's phenomenal job of just being the greatest general manager in football.
Yeah, ever.
Ever. That was insane.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
And it got on to Dallas because the fact that they traded with Dallas jumped Pittsburgh while Pittsburgh was on the phone with Malachi Lemon.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. I heard someone say something like it's like they blamed Khan and not having Tomlin there. I mean, all because they said, why would you call someone before you're on the clock? I mean, I don't know. That was just a crazy situation. I mean, really, because you don't see that. I'm sure I'm sure. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like this can't be the first time that's happened, and I'm sure there's been other situations. This is just very notable, right? I mean, because it's 2026. It's crazy.
Sure.
Buffalo Bills are quite famous for doing that, aren't they?
Yeah, the Bills are pretty good at all kind of stuff.
So Ty J said he thinks Dallas will be fine. They got Rashawn Gary, Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark on the D line. I think that Dallas has improved a little bit. I don't think they've improved enough.
Now, and Jeffrey, just to catch you up, the one thing that we were saying is based on what happened and based on the Kenny Pickett situation, the fact that Dallas traded out of 20.
Kenny Pickett, you mean George Pickens?
You could have killed two birds with one stone because we know Dallas doesn't like to renegotiate. You know that they don't like to do that. You could have had a Malachi Lemon at a cost-controlled contract and not had to worry for 5 years that you had to pay this guy. You have a George Pickens who's a wide receiver number one who probably wants to get paid like Alex Pierce and $42 million a year, okay? And you already have CeeDee Lamb who's making $35 million a year. You could have gotten rid of a headache and added to your receiver room just like that.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, it's hard for me in this situation, right? And I say that because, I mean, you'll never hear me say that George Pickens is the key to anyone's success, right? I mean, but I consider the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, if they have him and DK as opposed to just DK, aren't they better? I look at this situation, and I don't decline what you're saying. I think Dallas is, I'm not a fan of the coaching staff. Like, that's my problem. But as far as people on the field, Dallas is comparable to any of the top 10 teams in either conference, right? And I say that because they have a stable top 10 quarterback. I cannot for the life of me get over these conversations about Dak Prescott not being a top 10 quarterback. But okay, he's a top 10 quarterback. They got a decent run game. They're going to obviously work their offensive line. They have a talented group of receivers, a fine tight end. They got a third receiver in. I don't remember who the other dude is, but I think offensively they're good. Offensively is not what hurt them last year, though. whatchamacallit missed some games. CD missed some games from injury, but Pickens did step up, right? Their defense was the problem. And I got to be honest, man, we sat here last year and we ridiculed the shit out of Jerry Jones because he let Micah go to Green Bay. And man, I got to be honest. Micah didn't finish the season because he tore some shit, right? They got some first-round picks. They've made a hell of a draft with their cornerback with getting the young cat. I can't remember his name, but I love him. Yeah, huh?
Caleb Downs.
Yeah, Downs is a beast, right? And he's a safety, not a corner, right? But nonetheless, I think Dallas is good. Yeah, they have some holes, but you know what was funny? And I just had this conversation by chance earlier today at the barber shop when I was getting my head bald. It's funny because the draft is over and people are crowning their teams champions of something. And I mean, we have some people we know that have done so already. But August is when free agents will be signed, right? So like literal lineups aren't there. Right now you have a Von Miller that's there, Jadeveon Clowney that's there. You have several veteran athletes on both the offensive and defensive side. Rasul Douglas is there. I mean, there's people that can, I mean, they might not be the guy anymore, right? They might not be that heavily sought after free agent. But Stephon Diggs is there. Tyreek Hill's there. I mean, he'll have to get fixed. I say that because if Dallas picks up a free agent, because they have money, they have space, they're not like hurting. And I think that what they did through early free agency in the draft, I think that Dallas is actually shaped up to be in a pretty good position. Now, I'm not real quick. Let's pump the brakes. I'm not talking Super Bowl here. I'm talking about competitive in their division, right? And within the conference. I don't think that they're so far removed, right? I just think that there's a lot of variables that still exist. But I think, Dave, to the point of Pickens, and I know I said this to you the other day, I didn't get a chance to say it to Sean or our wonderful group of listeners. He's going to sign the franchise tag. There is nobody. There's not a single 31 team that's calling the Cowboys to negotiate a trade in order to get Pickens on a long-term deal. Pickens will play a franchise tag, and then he'll be open for free agency, and which he will then sign a 1-year deal. And then he'll probably do that until either he grows up and matures and isn't the person he is today, or B, he does that for his entire career on 1-year deals, which will shrink in value each and every year because you realize that this guy's never going to change. I hope he does because, look, if his personality and toxicity can go away, bro, this dude is legitimately a one receiver. He legitimately is a $42 million receiver. But the problem is he's got a $12 attitude, and that's the issue. And that's what I mean. Look, there isn't anybody comparable to him getting paid money. Even DK Metcalf, as much as we say he's similar, not the same. So anyhow, yeah. They're not going to move on from him. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a trade before the start of the season. But again, it's not with extension included. I can guarantee it. So anyway, I'm sorry that was long, but I don't think Dallas is so far off.
Okay, well, in the NFC, it's anyone's game in the NFC. The AFC is a different story altogether, and you are both Buffalo fans, being from Canada. Buffalo's draft. It's tough for me to agree. And okay, before I say this, Jeff, I 100% agree with you. I don't like to grade drafts until 3 years after the draft. That's when you know if it was an A, a B, a C, a D minus, whatever. But the Buffalo, I don't get the Buffalo fucking Bills.
I'll let David go because he's going to have some really good analysis, right? I'm not. In fact, Sean, I don't disagree with you. I looked at the grade. Buffalo got like an A on some places, a B minus on some, and a B plus on some. There were no C's, which blew my mind. I'm not satisfied with the draft, but here's my issue, and David can go through each player and tell you why it could be good or why it could be bad and all the things. The thing I'm going to say is this. Buffalo's offense is going to be status quo. I don't give a shit if they bring in Justin Jefferson or if they bring in Hodges, and I don't even know who Hodges is. I'm just making it up. It's been status quo with Brian Dable. It's been status quo with Ken Dorsey. It's been status quo with Joe Brady. Joe Brady's still there, so it's not going to change much. Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen, and whatever players are going to be whatever players. Our biggest issue over the last 8 years has been our defense. Our draft answered some of that. Our free agencies answered some of that. My issue with this, Sean, is that to me, everything that we can discuss is an unknown. Our defensive coordinator's new, our defensive scheme is new, and we can sit there and say the three front are going to be good and they're going to be fast and they're going to be this, and the four linebackers are going to do this. I mean, look, I don't know what it's going to be like. I have zero idea. I mean, trust the process is a Bills slogan, in which I didn't trust the process, and so be it. But we turned into a playoff team. So I will say this: I'm hopeful that with whatever has happened, maybe the change of defensive scheme is a value add, and our defense climbs from 13 or 12 to 9 or 8. If it goes to 20 or 22, that sucks. Our offense will still be a top 5 offense. At what level? I mean, is it enough to pare down the points differential when what our defense gives up, or is it going to be better? I just don't know what our defense is going to look like until they're on the field. So the draft for me, not very satisfied, because I don't know. I like the Sky Bell pickup. I think he's versatile in ways, which whether it's through receiver or kick return, because we don't really have one, maybe that's good. But the rest, I think we gave Houston the best defensive tackle in the draft, the pick after us, yet we've been talking about the whole offseason needing a defensive tackle. So it didn't make much sense to me. But Dave, you can give Bills insight. I'm not going to.
Well, Jeff, to your point, I agree with you. I don't think we know. The fact is, as Bills fans, we're used to a Sean McDermott defense. And so do I expect growing pains switching from the Sean McDermott 4-2-5, where you're dealing with getting pressure with your front four, as opposed to dealing or a 3-4, and you're looking for smaller, not necessarily larger linemen, but faster linemen who can cause chaos on the offensive line, and make the disguised blitzes and the pressures coming from your outside linebackers, your middle linebackers. So again, I do believe there's going to be growing pains. I can understand certain picks based on the fact that you want your cornerbacks to play a different type of coverage. We obviously needed cornerbacks. I mean, that was probably our weakest position on our team, was probably the cornerback, because if you notice in the playoffs,
safety,
Denver Broncos took advantage of the fact that our starting cornerback went out, boom, touchdown. Our starting safety went out, boom, touchdown. Right, back-to-back times.
Dave, can I ask this? Dave, can I ask this question? Can I ask this question? Because this is I do. Before the draft, I bitched to you months, like literal months. Our first pick for Jalen Waddle was the off-draft trade line.
Wherever you're walking, you're coming out.
I'm not walking. My phone just fucking stupid. Hold on.
You're great now. Stay there.
Jesus
Don't move.
Christ.
Don't move.
Yes.
I'm not. I wasn't moving before. It was dumb. It was dumb before. Listen. So my question to you is, where I was bitching about the trade, right? But we didn't make the trade for Waddle, and so we're going to keep our first, right? If you're saying right now our extreme need for what do you want me to eat that?
Yeah.
Okay. Kennedy brought me some chicken, which I'm going to eat. Okay, good deal. Say hi, Uncle David.
Hi, Uncle David.
Hey, Kenny, how are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
Good, sweetheart.
I'm going to finish the show. I love you. Okay, give me a kiss and move on.
Bye.
Love you. Thank you for the chicken.
Bye.
I appreciate it. All right. So we did that, right? And then you're talking about a need for a corner. And my issue is, I said, I hope that 26th pick is of value to where we trade or we didn't make a trade to make our team better at the trade deadline, regardless if it was for Waddle or if it was for the cornerback who went to whoever the Browns, but it doesn't matter. But why did we have the capital that we've earned over the past 65 fucking draft years where Bean has to trade all this stuff, where we could have moved up 4 picks, 5 picks, 6 picks to actually get a corner that is of value, where we actually ended up getting a corner from Ohio State who has been just his whole career, not just the season, has been marred by penalties because he is not good in coverage. He is a holding monster because he's beat. So why did we do that? It frustrates me to no end.
In 24, Igbunson,
yeah, don't say his name.
IGB. So in 24, he had 25 penalties. Last year he had 4. So so obviously he's worked on that. Now, I wish I could give you the answer. I wish I could try to figure out why we did what we did, and why we didn't move up. Here's my synopsis of what Brandon Bean did. So, yes, and Jeffrey, you're right. We bitched and moaned about Jalen Waddle and how valuable that pick was, and then he traded out of the first round. So now in the offseason, he traded a second-round pick and got DJ Moore. So what he did is he took – went Harry Potter on your asses. Who did? But anyway –
that's hilarious.
So the fact is, he took the 26th pick, and he turned it into pick 35, turned it into pick 61, turned it into pick 101, and turned it into pick 120.
I got it. By the grade,
that cornerback goes, I don't know.
I get it. And Dave, look, just say, look, I'm sitting here, and by all means, bro, I'm just asking a question because to Sean's point, and I've said it routinely, that's why I don't participate in the mock drafts, nor do I really sit here and grade the draft, because tell me all the picks in 3 years or 4 years from now that he made out of that one pick. And what I'll do is we'll redraft the draft, and those picks that he made are not going to be in the top 10, right? Sure. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe I'm wrong, and we'll see. But the thing is that every few years we do it on this show, and we also see it in real life where let's redraft the 2017 draft. Let's redraft the 2025 draft. So I say that because time will tell. I've never seen this dude play in the NFL. Just no different than when I tell Eric, I'm glad you're crowning this dude a Hall of Famer without a fucking snap in the NFL. I'm not going to do it either.
And now here's the thing with those redrafts, which I like and I don't like, because what those redrafts do, okay, is they look at the players that were drafted, but they don't take into account
the situation
and the need of that team. They just say Caleb Downs has been lights out. He would have been pick number 1 to the Vegas Raiders. Well, because the Vegas Raiders needed a quarterback.
Which it wouldn't have turned out that way. I get you, Dave. No different than we're going to look 5 years and a quarterback's going to be better than Mendoza. You're not wrong. I get it.
But just to the point about Buffalo real quick, and just getting back to the draft thing, all I'm going to say is it is a crapshoot. And I don't know if we've gotten better, if we've stayed status quo defensively, if we've gotten worse. But again, to your point, Jeffrey, offensively, we're going to score 30 points a game. So will our defense be able to hold them to 20 points, or will it be 32? And that's the unknown. So Sean, Go ahead.
All right. So we're done with the Buffalo thing. We're going to move on to the next teams. Teams okay, so Raiders got Mendoza. I don't think that changes. They did get a lot of offensive help for him, and they did some stuff. I don't think this changes where the Raiders are for next year, maybe in a couple of years. In that division, I think the Kansas City Chiefs just did enough to keep the status quo. They had a good draft, but I'd say I don't think they improved, but I don't think they needed to improve. The problem is they're going to be missing Mahomes for the first half of the season, probably.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's interesting about the Raiders, what you're saying is spot on. I think the Broncos did well. I don't think it changes. I think they're still a good team. I don't think they did anything that's gonna like. I think their biggest moves wasn't the draft. I think it's through free agency where they got to pick up a good receiver, right, for Waddle, right, and Waddle to give Bo Nix another weapon. With the Raiders, I'm really. It's going to be a conundrum to me, right? It's going to be a really frustrating situation because if the Raiders start the season with Mendoza, right, that's cool and all. And if they go 4-12 or 4-13 or 6-11, that's cool and all. But I think that with what they did in the draft and in free agency to this point, if you start Kirk Cousins, you're probably a legitimate player in that division. I'm not saying you're winning the division. I'm saying that the moves that they did made them competitive. Period. I'm not saying 14-3, and I'm not saying 10-7. I'm just saying not a 4-13 team, right? So I like what they've done, and I do like what they've done for Mendoza in the future. I also was that guy that said I'm not drafting Mendoza number 1 overall this year because there are still too many holes to fill if I'm the Raiders, but they did it, and so be it. So yeah, I mean. I keep hearing about Mahomes, and I just don't know what his timeline is. Some people are talking about him being ready for opening day. I don't think that's real, but we'll see. But you're right, Sean. I think the pick was good, what they did, because you knew it was coming. There was no surprise to that, right? I mean, it was surprising that they moved up to get him, but at the end of the day, that's what they were going to do from the jump, especially after they let who was it, McDuffie? Was it McDuffie that they let go?
Like all their secondary.
All their secondary. So you knew they were going to get a safety, right? But anyway, no.
My thing with the Raiders, and I only had one real head scratcher, and that was the 3rd round pick when they picked the running back. That and I say that not because the running back isn't good, because he was basically the 3rd rated running back in the draft. My issue with them is they're going into this season with Trey Tucker and I don't know who the
Ashton Genty.
Who?
Ashton Genty.
No, but what I'm saying is they gave no receiver help to any quarterback, whether
you're saying the receivers. Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
There were receivers on the board that they could have got.
Well, Dave, I got to be honest. When you say that, there were. I don't necessarily understand the running game, but you're gonna push your running game to take pressure off the quarterback, which I understand what they're doing there, right? But again, the Raiders aren't strapped for cash. Tyreek Hill is a free agent. Stephon Diggs is a free agent. Juwan Jennings is a free agent. You have legitimate people out there that are going to instantly upgrade your receiving position, and they're not going to be that $100 million dude. I mean, Diggs is not getting a $24 million contract. Juwan Jennings may get a good contract, but I mean, so I'm just saying that because I believe wholeheartedly what they did was draft the best player that was available at any position at that moment, knowing that after the draft they're going to make moves. I can almost guarantee you without guaranteeing and no giving money. So it's not really a guarantee whatsoever. But I can almost guarantee you I believe that the Raiders are going to be an early active team in the pursuit of free agents and or trades after post June 1st, whatever the case may be. I mean, look, there is not a solid idea. I mean, it's conceptualized, it's it's conspiracy until it is, but AJ Brown is going to move from Philly. Now, the landing spot, that's what you're saying. That's the conversation. But Dave, there's some things happening in real life out there that actually might stop this from being a real thing. I mean, I don't even want to get into on this show the Mike Vrabel situation, but here's the deal. the broken news for that story was from the girl, which is great. I don't know if Robert Kraft wants that heat. Because I'm telling you, once that information starts to become real, then the Patriots start to become penalizable. And so instead of a penalty, maybe they shift from it. But I'll tell you, the Raiders are a great landing spot for him. They have the capital draft and they have the money. So whether it be an AJ Brown, a Stephon Diggs, a Tyreek Hill, they're going to answer some receiving questions through some free agency. I can almost guarantee it.
I would take a Raiders trade versus a Patriots trade every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Because
Sure.
the Raiders are going to be shit.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a better draft pick. That's a good point, Jeff. I still think he's going to the Patriots.
Sure.
And with all that shit, Vrabel's going to be fine. I mean, Robert Kraft.
So now, Sean, can I play host for a minute? And I want to ask your opinion.
Okay.
Speaking of teams now, let's go to your New York Jets.
Okay.
Why don't you explain to me how you think they did? I thought they did very well, but you explain. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
No. I was using the hand motion that they were either the number 1 or the number 2 team in the draft. They were the best and or the second best drafting team this year. So yeah, good on them. But go ahead, Sean. I didn't want to talk.
Okay, so here it is. As Jet fans, we have gained a very dangerous thing. It's called hope. And yes, we had a good draft, but I'm going to just take you back to 4 years ago. The New York Jets got Sauce Gardner at 4, Garrett Wilson at 10, Jermaine Johnson at 26, Breece Hall at 36, Jeremy Ruckert at 101, Max Mitchell at 111, and Michael Clemens at 117. That was a hell of a draft class. We were like, yeah, we got our corner, we got our running, we got all this shit. And 5 snaps into the season, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, the Jets, I think, did very well in this draft if the players play up to the potential. And I'm hoping that Aaron Glenn has these players. And, yes, I agree with you, Jeff. No, he doesn't, because he's in the hot seat. But if we can get something going, I mean, honestly, if the Jets were to win 7 games this year, it would be like the fucking Super Bowl. Because that's where we are. And holding on to hope for next year. Oh, Arch Manning. That ain't happening. Not happening.
Yeah.
Well,
You know
my
what?
problem with that, Sean, is something like that has to happen. And so there's your catch-22. Your catch-22 is if to get a good quarterback, you need to shit the bed. And the problem is, in shitting the bed, Aaron Glenn will be gone. And your draft class will look like a failure because you shit the bed. But the problem is, in Jetland, that's what needs to happen. And if you had an owner that was coherent and not Woody Johnson, he would understand that and he would say, and maybe he has, I don't know, but maybe you put your arm around Aaron Glenn and say, don't worry about what happens this year because I'm playing to get Arch Manning. I'm playing to get so on and so forth. So let's just build and do and so on and so forth. We'll get our quarterback. And now you got your 2-year run to do what you got to do. And if you're not done by a year or 2, then you're out. But the fact is, with Geno Smith there, and, you know, you did draft, what's his name, Corey Klubick. So, and again, I don't know if he's going to be any good or
And we're
not.
talking to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but we don't know what he's going to turn out to be. But the fact is, the quarterback position is the key position for the Jets to hit. And until they do, It doesn't matter all these draft picks, and I think they're all awesome. Omar Cooper, all those guys that you drafted this year, fantastic. But if you don't hit on that quarterback, it's all going to be for naught. It's just what it is.
Yeah,
And
the argument I would have, and not to you, David, and not even an argument to Sean. It's really just an argument with myself regarding the Jets, and my comparison is going to, because I love the players you got, but if you recall, for the last 7 years minus the last 2 years, right? So I mean, it's been like 5 years of the 7. I've been high on the Jets and what they can do. Obviously, the quarterback position has been a key contributor of failure, whether it be Zach Wilson or whether it be Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields, or it doesn't matter. Insert said fill in the blank quarterback over the past 7 years, right? But at one point in time, I was like, this Jets defense is the best defense in the league. These offensive weapons the Jets have are actually pretty good if they get the quarterback play. This running back is phenomenal. But here's my issue. And I had the issue a couple years back, and I still have it. You guys fired Robert Saleh based on whatever it may be. I mean, they were 3-4, 1 game away from Buffalo. They were going into playing Buffalo. Rodgers is out for the year. They have a mixture of dumb quarterbacks playing, because that's all that Mike White and Zach Wilson were the only options that were given to Salah. He said something, they fired him. It is what it is. What I'm looking at right now and for going forward in this year is I want to see the comparison between what the Jets do with Aaron Glenn's dumbass, who I thought should have been fired immediately after he said, I'm going to take Justin Fields over Aaron Rodgers before the season started, but then should have only been validated with firing him as soon as the season ended, but they didn't, so they're keeping him. But I'm going to watch the comparison between that of the Jets and what they have talent-wise and that of the Tennessee Titans and what they have talent-wise, and then I'm going to make my decision on if this was a good draft or not. Aaron Glenn should be fired. Until he does something to mysteriously change my opinion, it's gonna be bothersome to me, and he might. I mean, I'm who am I to judge? I'm not a coach in the NFL. However, past performance is an indicator of future performance, and he is like, the dude was supposed to come in and shape up the defense. He did not. The disciplinarian was supposed to end the penalties. He did not. And you guys had not one single interception all year long, which was an NFL record in the first, which is awful. And so I say that because that alone, besides the Aaron Rodgers debacle and the picking of Justin Fields, which was a debacle in my opinion, he should have been fired. I mean, your GM got it right. He should have been with him. So anyway, I love your draft. I think the draft is good. I think it should set up Aaron Glenn for some success because he had a hand in the draft this year as opposed to last year. But I don't. I'm not overly confident, but I'm confident in the players you have, and I'm definitely, and I'm not confident in Geno Smith. Man, bring Justin Fields back and it'll be better. Not really, it won't be better with Justin Fields. So anyway, but no, I'm excited for your future though. I mean, literally, depending on, the breakup, the shakeup, whatever. If it has to go and get a new quarterback and with whether it be Arch Manning or somebody else next year, man, I think at this time we can look at teams across the board that have second-year quarterbacks. For instance, if I'm a team, I'm literally calling Pittsburgh and trying to trade for Will Howard. Right now, I'm telling you I want Will Howard. And I don't know Will Howard's going to be a beast, but if I'm going to hype up Mendoza to the point that I've hyped up Mendoza to be the number 1 pick overall because he was a Heisman Award winner and a national champion, well, Will Howard had better stats. And if I go back on Eric's word, because I listened to Eric tell me about Indiana at the beginning of the year because that's his school and that's where he's from. Well, they were a loaded team. It was inevitable that they were going to reach the finals in Eric's mind, and they were going to pound everybody, which they did. So where's the difference between the loaded Ohio State team that Will Howard had? Well, trade for him, get him, and let him be your start. I would do that if I'm the Jets right now. Put Will Howard behind center, let him fumble a little bit, let him get beat up a little bit, let him learn the game. But I think he's a future quarterback in this league, and I think just an opportunity to prove it needs to be there. And who knows? But that's just my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, real quick before we go to David, I just want to remind all Jet fans out there, all one of you are watching, hope can be a dangerous thing. So take it as it should be.
Yeah.
And that's all the Jets have right now, us fans, is hope. Just don't go too crazy with it.
Hey, can I be the host for a second now and ask a question since I'm always talking?
Please.
Unfortunately, we don't have Katie and Eric here tonight because to me, the most intriguing draft story lines in the NFC or AFC North. So from a graded position, we in the discussion, right, saw a majority of Eric's comments about Pittsburgh's awesome draft, which I'm not disagreeing with his opinion of it. He said what he needed before and they got what he needed. So in his mind, it filled the gaps, and I'm not mad at him for it. It's spot on to what he was saying, minus the first draft pick that they took. But anyhow, in grading, Cleveland was graded as an A. Baltimore was graded as a B plus. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati were both graded as Bs, right? And this is about 7 different grades that I went on that are all the same. Pittsburgh wasn't the leading, like I know Eric had said that Pittsburgh was the best drafter, but here's my question to you all. I mean, I'll let you guys discuss it. And I'm actually going to bounce off of here and listen to the response because I got to eat this chicken and clean up my kitchen. And then I got to get to bed because I got an early day. But all that being said, when you look at those 4 teams' drafts, literally through the draft, where in April or almost May, who do you look at as actually winning the draft, and not so much what does it do to the current team that they had in place, but what do you see overall in the AFC North?
Well,
And then I'll say,
me?
Sean, good to see you. I'm out, but it's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, man. Thank you.
All right.
So, in answering Jeff's question, this is what I take away from it. I think all the teams in the AFC North had good drafts for what they needed. I still think from a defensive standpoint and from an offensive line standpoint, Cincinnati could do better. But for majority overall, I'd say that was a good draft. Pittsburgh, again, we talked about them going O-line. Eric talked about them going wide receiver. Obviously, to Eric's benefit, they were on the phone with the wide receiver and they were jumped. So Eric was right in the fact that they were looking at taking a receiver in round 1. It didn't work out, and then they pivoted. I don't necessarily know if I like the offensive lineman that they took that early, but be that as it may, they did end up getting the wide receiver on top of the lineman, and overall, I think it was good. Baltimore, same thing. Baltimore, we all called the pick. The pick was brought up. That's who they took in the first round. They added a receiver for Lamar Jackson. They did a great job on the defensive line as well. I thought that was a great draft. Cleveland, I'm telling you, Cleveland hit a home run in their draft. The only thing, again, that I will say about Cleveland, it comes down to the quarterback. It comes down to who is under center. If
Deshaun Watson.
and I'm gonna if it is Deshaun Watson,
It is.
and if he can get back to the form that he had pre-trade to Cleveland,
No.
if I'm the AFC North, because there's no reason why Cleveland can't have the number 1 defense again. And if I'm the AFC North, with the fact that they added both those receivers in Boston Concepcion, now they have and they have Harold Fannin, they have Judy. If Deshaun Watson can round into form, I would worry about Cleveland. Now, the only unknown that I really have besides the quarterback is the coaching staff. I've never seen Todd Monken as a head coach. I don't know if the spot's too big for him or not. That's an unknown to me. But I'll just say Cleveland hit a pretty solid home run on that draft and what they needed from a skill set, position wise and talent wise. That was probably the best draft of the NFC or AFC North, rather.
They had the most non-Cleveland draft that they've ever had.
Sure.
That's it. So the original topic was about Pittsburgh. Am I correct?
Well, Jeffrey just asked about the AFC North in general.
Okay. So the Ravens got better. They've done some stuff. Still got some offensive line troubles and receiver. We're going to see how that shakes out. Cleveland Browns have definitely had the most non-Cleveland Brown draft ever, as I said before, and they addressed some very important positions. I think they needed to upgrade at wide receiver, and we're going to see if that comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't see them moving up, moving down. I think they're just going to stay where they are. And my big problem is, being a Dallas Cowboy fan, I'm a Jet fan first, then a Dallas Cowboy fan. Mike McCarthy did not do well in Dallas. Oh, they won a playoff game. They won the playoff. Okay, well, they didn't do shit in the playoffs. They didn't win a playoff game. I don't like him in Pittsburgh. I don't think he plays Pittsburgh football. I don't think he has a Pittsburgh mentality. And I don't think that this is going to be they've had a winning schedule for 19 years. I think this is the first year that they don't have a winning record. Cincinnati, I think, did well in free agency and in the draft. And I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh, well, they addressed some problems on defense, which they had. Are they great on defense? Hell no. But if they could, instead of giving up 35 to 44 points a game, if they could cut it down to 28, they're winning a lot more games. And that's what they did address the defense. Yeah, they let Hendrickson go, and they probably could have done a better job keeping him, but it is what it is. As far as the AFC North goes, I see Pittsburgh coming in third in the AFC North. Cleveland still is going to be fourth because they're going to start Deshaun Watson. And if he can come back to what he was, he hasn't played in 4 years. He ain't coming back. He's not. So stop the whole fantasy thing. It's not happening.
Yeah, and again, I agree with you. And like I said, if he gets back to that form, it's going to be dangerous. And I will say one thing about the Cleveland. The one thing I'll say about Cleveland, which I find very intriguing, is they drafted the quarterback Tylen Green. Now this guy is a freak athlete. This is the guy in the pre-draft conversations where general managers, when they would take him in, would basically say, would you be willing to convert to wide receiver or tight end? He's that big and he's that physical and he's that fast and he's got that size. And so that is an interesting pick because if Cleveland can get him to convert, that gives a whole other dimension to what they can do offensively. But again, these are all rookies. We don't know how they're going to convert from the college to NFL, and these are just all projections of what we think. But I'm intrigued by Tylen Green. That pick did intrigue me a little bit.
Okay, so he's going to be Taysom Hill?
I mean, he has but I mean, this guy is Taysom Hill on steroids. I mean, this guy is a freak athlete.
All right. Yeah. It is what it is. They're still going to come in last in the NFC North this year.
Oh.
That's just the way it's going to happen. It's not my opinion. It's just fact.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, look at. I don't know if Cincinnati did enough defensively to change anything. I don't know if Cincinnati did anything offensively from a protect Joe Burrow point of view to address their glaring issues. I mean, you get rid of what you call it. You don't sign your defensive end Trey Hendrickson, and then you go out and spend a bunch of money on I forget who they signed or they drafted or they signed. When I'm like, you could have just got see, I hate not being prepared.
So they got DeCassius Howell, Texas A&M.
Yep. Oh no, they traded their number 10 overall pick for Dexter Lawrence. It's like, and that was my big thing. It's like, is Dexter Lawrence he's a great defensive lineman, but is he a difference maker? Is he I don't know. What difference did he make for the Giants? So again, you can be a good player on an average defense. Are you going to get eaten up because you're the only difference maker? And so again, I don't know. You give up the 10th overall pick, and did you really gain anything other than a big contract?
Yeah, but you know at least what you're getting. I mean, that's the thing. If you know what you get, again, they were terrible against the run.
Sure, but look at what did he do to help the Giants against the run?
Last year was an off year. The last 2 years, the 2 years before that were really good.
But did he have more talent 2 years ago?
Yeah, sure. Probably, but
yeah,
he was, he was disgruntled.
But he wasn't disgruntled last year. He was disgruntled this year when he didn't get paid, and that's just my point. All I'm saying is, when you look, you put a great player on an average defensive line, you're going to look average.
Right. Okay. Let's hit like 2 more teams real quick, and then we'll wind it up for the night. The Miami Dolphins.
I can't grade that only because they needed 53 dudes.
Yeah.
and they went, the way I looked at Miami's draft, they went best player available at a position of need, which was everything.
Yes.
And so at that point, it was like, you're drafting, you go down your list to whatever their board was, and you say, I got guard, tackle, center, wide receiver, quarterback, safety, corner, edge. This is how I have them lined up. I'm picking here. Who's my top guy there? That's the guy I'm taking.
Okay.
I mean, and again, I mean, I just look at Miami as them having so many holes that whatever their board graded out at and whatever pick they had, when that pick came up, they were at the top of their board, and that's who I was picking. I didn't have to think about it.
Okay.
Because I need everything.
All right. New England Patriots.
Uneventful.
Yeah.
I mean, they filled some things, but I think it was uneventful. I don't even remember who the hell New England even drafted.
Taysom Hill.
Who?
No. Hill, Miami receiver. Was on Kansas City?
No, they didn't. No. They didn't get Tyreek Hill.
No. Where does Tyreek go?
Oh. I don't know. That I'm not sure. I'm not sure. First of all, I don't think he's going to sign before the season. I think they will wait until he rehabs and is better. Um, again, I think he ends up on a team that, number one, he's familiar with, which he could go back to Kansas City, or number two, a team that's in decent shape and they need wide receiver help, and he's available and ready to play. He come in and help them. I don't think he's in a rush to sign, and I don't think anybody's in a rush to sign him. So I think it's going to be more of the waiting game for Tyreek Hill.
All right. So we're going to wind it up. I'm going to give you one last question, David. This is going to be a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
After draft, who are your two teams in the Super Bowl?
Oh my God. Who are my two teams in the Super Bowl after the draft?
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. NFC, who you got?
Wow.
I'll tell you mine.
In the NFC, I would have said one team, but they totally fudged up the draft. They screwed everybody's board from 13 on. It was like, what the hell are you doing? I would have said the Rams, but I think they screwed up.
I agree.
I'm still going to take Seattle. I didn't see anything that made me think that they weren't getting any stronger.
I agree.
So
I agree that I believe Seattle. The second possible, I will say the Philadelphia Eagles, but I have zero faith in. I have 100% faith in Roseman. I have zero faith in the coaching staff, but I would say that.
yeah, I could see Philadelphia, but again, I think, I think the one thing, the only thing that I would say negative about Philly is, as much as everybody talks about the AJ Brown situation,
Mhm.
having that veteran and then having to turn it over to a rookie like that, regardless of what people think about AJ and Jalen Hurts, to have that veteran present is still important, regardless. And so, but again, from a holistic talent, from offense, defense, everything else, yeah. So Seattle and Philly would be my two choices in the NFC.
Okay, so AFC.
AFC. I'm gonna be a homer, and I got two teams in the AFC. I got Buffalo, and I have Denver. I think Denver did well in the draft. I think they got Jalen Waddle, which is another weapon for for Bo Nix that he didn't have. He's got a guy who can get down the field, who's reliable. He's got a big arm. And Buffalo, to me, did nothing to hurt their offense. I think Buffalo's issue is going to be how they transition out of the McDermott's defense to Jim Leonard's defense. If it's a smooth transition and they got the right players to play the positions and they don't get injured, I see Buffalo as one of the top two teams in the AFC, if not the top. I do think that they win the division over New England. Yeah, Jeffrey, I don't know if Bo Nix is really that guy, but I know that Denver as a whole, as a team itself, got better. And I don't necessarily think Bo Nix has to be all of that guy. I think if J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy, they have R.J. Harvey. If Dobbins stays healthy and the wide receivers perform to what they can do, and I also have a feeling that after the draft and after all this settles, They're free agents out there. I think David Njoku has a real opportunity to sign with Denver, which would help Sean Payton's offense because he was very high on tight ends in his offense from Jeremy Shockey all the way through. So again, I just look at Denver getting to where they got to last year and losing because of an injury to Bo Nix and Jared Stidham. Yeah, I know that. I get that. Dobbins hasn't been healthy his entire career. So, but I just think that Denver and Sean Payton's a good coach. So Buffalo and Denver would be my two AFC choices.
Okay.
I do not believe in New England.
Okay. I
about
don't
you?
want to believe in New England. I do believe in New England because I think they had a good offseason, had an okay draft, but I think A.J. Brown is going to get traded and go to them. The Vrabel situation is a I think your Buffalo Bills, I think they took a step back. And we could debate this, whatever, but the fact is that Buffalo is on the cusp of winning now. And I think they've made a couple of moves in free agency, not many, because that's not what Bean does. But they didn't do anything to, like, okay, now here it is. Because it's in the big games that the Buffalo Bills falter. I think Kansas City is, if they can get through the first half the season, they're going to be trouble. Denver, I think Bo Nix continues to slide, and I got Kansas City winning that division. The one team we're not talking about, and we need to fucking talk about, the Houston fucking Texans. They were nasty last year.
Until
And
they,
they are
get a
nasty
until they get a consistent quarterback, I ain't talking Texans.
I don't think they need a consistent quarterback. I think they just need someone to get them through. That defense is nasty.
Well, just remember they lost to New England in the playoffs. They don't have an offense. If Houston has to travel to Buffalo, Denver, or New England in January,
that's trouble.
Game over. CJ Stroud is CJ Stroud. Until I see him perform back to his rookie year, I will not have faith in Houston. Defensively, they are going to be a juggernaut. Defensively, they are as stout as. If I were to look at the Texans' defense on paper, the 2005 Baltimore Ravens, that's what I look at.
Okay.
But they have Nico Collins, who gets hurt. Their running game consists of Woody Marks and David Montgomery, a quarterback that's inconsistent, a wide receiver in Tank Dell, who's been hurt 2 years in a row coming off of an entire leg dislocation, a rookie in Jaden Higgins, or a second-year player in Jaden Higgins. They can build the defense all they want. They're not built to play outside in January. And until they do, I just don't. You ain't going to come to Buffalo and beat Josh Allen in Orchard Park in January. It's not going to happen. I don't care how good your defense is. They had a good defense last year. They beat Buffalo by 3 points. And Buffalo was driving, and he threw
look at the division.
And so, again, and they were playing in Houston in the Dome. In January in Buffalo, ain't happening.
I 100% agree with you. And I always say I hate dome teams and I hate fair weather teams in the playoffs. If you got to go north, you're fucked. But
Jeffrey
I think the Houston Texans are going to be a lot of fucking trouble.
Jeffrey says they just need to play Pittsburgh.
Yes.
That was in a dome.
Oh, there you go.
I don't think the score would have been any different if they played in Pittsburgh, but I'm just saying it was in the dome.
All right. Well, with that being said,
I was allowing the 6 points that Pittsburgh scored because it was warm in the dome.
there you go. Well, it doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers will be back next year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, so they can go on from there.
I don't
All
know. I don't know.
Anything? Would you like the final word, Dave, and then we can wind this up?
You can have the final word. I'll give it to you, Sean.
Oh
wait, I do have one final word, and then you can have a final word.
No, I've already said my final word. You go.
I'm sorry, but I just got to talk about it. If anybody out there is not watching the hockey, the NHL playoffs, do it. They are fantastic. And I know I'm a Buffalo Sabres fan, and I'm glad the Sabres are in it. But I'm just telling you, all of the playoff series are phenomenal. These guys skate, hit. It is a sight for television. And the fact that more people don't watch the NHL, at least in the playoffs, if you're not, you need to. It is poetry on ice. Watch it. I'm telling you.
Hockey, without a doubt, is the hardest sport to play, period.
It's crazy.
All right. Well, with that being said, we want to thank you all for watching and tuning in. If you didn't get a chance to see us, check us out on Spotify, but please remember to like, share, notify, subscribe. No one's watching anymore, but we're going to wind it up. And we will see you. We don't know when. Dave and I are going to talk about it, but we'll see you in the future from the couch.